Everyone, this is Jason Unruhe of the MRN Network, and I am here with Comrade Net, who has been talking to the Lumpen Third Worldists and the Lumpen Celt about things that they would like to see from this channel, like topics that they'd like to see covered and discussed in the future. So, why don't you just go ahead?
Well, I mean, the first one, and it was actually me that suggested that this should be an in-depth two-parter, but they really would like to see uh, basically like a long, well-done analysis on how to build proletarian internationalism, and how to bring about international solidarity for a larger proletarian movement, hopefully led to the third world, that being Africa and the global South. In obviously solidarity with the first world lumpen proletarians and black nationalists, obviously. Uh, but lumpen Celt also said, as far as the multipolar position of third worldists, these are the people that, and I should explain this. I have this written down. Obviously, Maoists, but anarchists, demarchists, Gavurists, and Hojists, and I should make this clear, he's referring to dialectical Hojists and not the Hojists, quote unquote, Stalinists, which are typically the Hojists you and I have typically dealt with. And also, they wanted to see, this is going to be a bit difficult. They want to see more coverage on the Peruvian struggle, which I don't know how to do that because I can't find much of anything on Peru. It's very hard to find things on Peru. The Naxals in India, coverage on resistance fighters in Afghanistan, and the Filipino Maoists.
Okay, that sounds like something we should do. Yeah. All those subjects are hard to get any concrete information on, but it's not impossible.
Um, I suggest also, this is my suggestion, based on things we were talking about earlier before starting this recording. I think we need to do somewhat of a. I mean, this was more on the first world, but there's so much talk about Americans. I mean, out here we think we're the center of the world. And we don't just dunk on the third world. We dunk on other first world countries because we think we're so superior. There's a lot of complaints that do make sense because of the decline of everything, but I tried to do a comparison between the UK and the USA, and it looks like the UK is in worse shape. And I request that be taken more, in coverage as well. As not that we stop talking about stuff in the United States, but I think that the paradigm has shifted in the UK.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue otherwise. The UK is being hammered by its own internal contradictions right now, as well as the consequences of its hostile foreign policy in league with the United States against Russia. I mean, much of the sanctions that the UK and the United States have been pushing against Russia have backfired and not had the desired effect, let's just say.
Well, I'm going to say something to the effect of that. I don't think the United States has the capacity anymore to compete with Russia or China. I don't. I think America's kind of crashing, and I think that the rest of the empire smells the blood, and in order for their profits to go up, they may have to scrap the United States. I'm not saying that would happen right away, but like, I don't know, like. There's a lot of talk in the EU that the United States is run by incompetent people. I mean, they have a point with that. I'm no fan of the EU, but like, I think the EU might be tactically smarter than the USA.
Could very well be. I mean, I think that they've decided, or at least for the most part, I think many of them really are starting to regret this whole aggression against Russia. I don't. It's really not working out for them, and I think a lot of them really regret going into this.
I've gotten fed up with the Russophobia and everything. It really bothers me. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. At the same time, I don't like Russia's internal contradictions either. and like the shady deals that Putin does. I mean, I have a certain respect for Putin, but Putin is, when you look at him, especially in retrospect with his dealings, he's kind of third positionist, and he does chill with fascists, and that isn't cool. And
Yeah, that, I mean, yeah, and you know, less said about Dugan, the better. But yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, he's not really anti-imperialist; he's anti-U.S. imperialist.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, I also think that the consensus by the younger comrades that were at global fascism, I think that that's true. I think it's just that fascism has gotten so sophisticated we can barely tell. Well, I mean, if you're poor, you can tell. If you're the more poor you are, the more you see it. So if you're like lumpen proletarian, or lower income black person, or Native American, or if you're from the third world or in the third world, it's more visible in that sense. Um, you know and I did look into the Belt and Road Initiative. There's nothing that justifies that, and I'm definitely on the position China's super imperialist.
Yeah, it's an all roads lead to Rome kind of situation.
I tried hard to get okay, at least in alliance with Dengus, and I was one of the ones that pushed that, and that's like my biggest regret, because I knew what China was, and I tried to see it from the other angle, and all I kept finding is, wow, China's an extremely messed up country. It's nothing. This is nothing of what Mao would have wanted. This isn't even what the old nationalists would have wanted. I mean, and I'm no fan of you know, what's his name,
Chiang
Chiang
Kai-shek.
Kai-shek. Yeah, yeah. Um, but I don't even think he would like what has happened to China today. China has really become like a pariah. And the funny thing about it is like, I'm not like just dunking on it. I think the funny thing is I think China's going to win the market war.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
The U.S. is too busy allowing the market to be unstable for the sake of a hands-off approach, and China, because it's going to be smarter about it, it's going to interfere with the market and manipulate it when necessary. They're going to win that one.
Well, I know that they're uh, indisposed at the moment, both of them, but I would like to give the shout out to Lumpenkelt and Lumpen Third Worldist, and also state that I officially agree that China is not just imperialist, but it's fascist. And I'm not trying to upset people who are fond of Chinese culture, because I'm kind of fond of Chinese culture myself. But what I what I noticed is like China has like one of the best social democracies in the world, but that social democracy doesn't apply to the poorest people. Now, if when you've got a government like that, that's what you call fascism, because like the Nazis were that way. They had a great social democracy, which didn't apply to the poorest people. So like the patterns are there. And like, I don't want to just call everything fascist, but the behavior of China is looking that way. And the way that they crack down on dissent, like they're like a lot of people are like saying we want communism, and you know you like they're always pushing back the clock to when supposedly they're going to go into actual socialism to get to communism, but then they don't. you know
Yeah.
uh, but on the proletarian internationalism, I suggest that should be an in-depth two-parter, which includes how to also build that. I think that would be beneficial. I think that Lumpen Third Worldist and Lumpen Kelt have very good ideas for this, and that they are representing the line holder position, and it is something I would like to know more about, the Peruvian struggle particularly, but that is so hard to study. I mean, I think Falcone knows a bit about that.
Hmm.
But that's pretty much it. And like I would like to see a commitment to these things. They proposed solid ideas that I think we should aim for in the network.
Yeah, I think they're good. I think that's doable. Was there anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. These are some things that I can work on in the future, and I look forward to getting that out to everybody. So,
Excellent.
thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.